This is going to be your ultimate guide to the rats mod in Minecraft, giving you absolutely everything you need to know without any waffle. If you enjoy this tutorial, check out my channel, as I have done pretty much nearly every single mod in Minecraft you need a tutorial for at this point. So let's get into it. So to start with, where are we going to see rats in the natural world? Well, they can spawn in dark areas in the overworld or on top of garbage piles like you can see here. So garbage piles can actually spawn in villages. Often you'll see, piles of garbage. Or like I said, they can spawn in dark areas. Now, these are what wild rats look like. Now, cats are obviously native to vanilla Minecraft, which you can tame with raw fish if you've forgotten. And cats, when tamed, will actually sort out any nasty rat problems you may have, as you can see here. They'll chase the rats and then they will kill them for you. As you can see there, the cat is chasing after the rats. So what do rats drop when they die? Well, they drop raw rat meat, which you can add into a carved pumpkin to make a jack-o'-rattan, a rat version, or you can cook them and then put them between some bread to make a rat burger, which is obviously delicious. Rat pelts can be made into leather, and you can make banner patterns out of them. The other option is a rat paw, but these are used for rat upgrades, which we'll be covering later in the video. Another way you can actually get rats is by a trash can. You can make this with just really simple materials. You can right-click on the trash can to open it, and then shove it full with whatever you like. And as you can see, I've just picked up a garbage pile when... Wait, is that an actual fly? When it is full, and you get your garbage piles, and it says spawn rats on block. So rats will spawn on here. And these are the same ones you'd find in villages. So what will rats do? Well, as you can see here... I'm just going to repair these. Rats will actually go through any kind of wooden items, like these planks here, looking for food, which is obviously very annoying. Rats love cheese, of course, but they will look for any kind of food at all, anything edible, and they will eat it. They'll seek out planted crops, they will break and consume them. Placing food items in chests won't help you. They will actually steal from chests, and occasionally will actually leave behind contaminated food instead. And they will dig through holes to make rat holes. Sorry, wood planks to make rat holes. Now I'm going to put a rat trap with some cheese down here, and what you're suddenly going to see is that these rats will suddenly sense the cheese on the side of this wall, and as you can see, pretty much on cue, the wood that they were previously leaving alone, they are now breaking through, making rat holes, because they know food is on the other side. Although you could leave a kind of... This was an accident, actually, when I broke that grass. You could leave like a one deep hole underneath your walls, and the rat will fall in and hurt itself and die like that one did. That was literally an accident. Otherwise, they will come through wooden planks, and they will take the cheese. Now, that rat trap, you do need to actually arm them. So there's the rat trap. I've got my cheese on it, and then I have to actually right-click the rat trap in order to set it. If you just literally put the rat trap down and a piece of cheese like that, then they'll just take the cheese and go. You need to right-click it in order to set the trap. And that will kill the rats, as you saw a second ago. Now, in order to deal with them, like I said, you can get your cats, which somehow escaped. My cat escaped from here. But you can also tame the rats. So, can cats teleport? Oh, they can climb walls? Okay. So, with rats, you can actually tame them. They will run away from you. All you need to do is throw some cheese on the floor. And you need to keep throwing cheese on the floor because they will run away from players. And you need to keep feeding them and keep feeding them until basically you see love hearts. And it can take up to 15 times. So basically, every time you feed them, they might not run away as far away from you. And that can take up to 10 times to the point where they won't run away from you whatsoever. And then after that, it can take up to 5 more times to actually tame the rat. So up to 10 cheese feedings, like I'm doing now, to stop them running away from you. And then up to another 5 times to actually tame the rat. So once this rat has finally tamed, I'll show you what happens. It'll just be love hearts like you see with normal animal taming in Minecraft. So when you're taming these rats with cheese, you may be saying, well, how do I get all that cheese? Well, it's pretty easy. In order to get cheese, all you need to do is make blocks of cheese. And in cheese making, in JEI here, you can see you get a cauldron and fill it with milk. fill the cauldron with milk, wait 7 seconds, it'll turn into a cauldron of cheese. You can also add sugar to that cauldron of cheese to make a cauldron of blue cheese, and you can add lava to make a cauldron of never cheese. Never cheese you are going to be using for things like a patrol staff, some upgrades, etc. And the same with blue cheese, it's used for some upgrades and things like that. Whereas the normal cheese, you're making a lot more with. Like, for example, with leather, you can make a rat sack containing the rats you are taming. Containing and taming. There's some upgrades, obviously, you can make. Rat cage decorations you can make. If you want to make marbled cheese, that's with cheese and never quartz. Which currently isn't used for anything, it doesn't seem like. Your cheese staff, which can also be used for, which I'll be showing you soon, controlling your rats. A rat wheel, which is another cage decoration. And lastly, there is also the rat whistle, which will send all nearby tamed rats to their home position when applicable. So when we have our tamed rat, which this one now is, I can right-click on it, and you can see the gender of the rat. Upgrade slots for the rat, cheese slot of course, a banner slot, and a helmet slot. So I can put a diamond helmet in there, and now my lovely little rat has some armor. And I can say current command, stay here, and I can say set command to wander. I set it to stay here, set it to follow me, set it to hunt mobs. When given a mob filter upgrade, the rat will kill all mobs it lists. The rat will also place their remains in a deposit container if assigned one. Use the cheese staff to set a deposit inventory. So the cheese staff, remember, is just a stick and some cheese. And what I can do is right-click that rat, and it will say the staff is now bound to that rat. And then I can right-click the chest, and it will say deposit items in chest from the north, take items from chest from the north, or set home point for rat to the chest, which will set its home point. That's where it, is stationed at. I'm going to say on this side, which is the north, or you can click on this side, which would be the west, etc. I'm going to say this one. Deposit items into that chest. So when I'm right-clicking on that rat, you can now see where it is setting items to. Oh, and it's escaped. Now, I don't think your tamed cats will try and kill tamed rats. I'm pretty sure it's only wild rats. Now, you may be saying, okay, my rat has escaped. How the hell do I get it back? Well, don't forget that you can make with some cheese and some leather the rat sack, and you can pick up to 16 rats of that. You can also put some spiderweb etc. with it to make a rapture net, rounding up all tamed rats within 16 blocks into one neat sack. So I'm just going to right-click the rat, and then I'm going to right-click back in the enclosure, and then I'm going to wall it up a bit better, make sure my lovely little rat cannot escape the tutorial area. So there's a few other things. If I right-click on my rat again, we've got wander. Obviously, it will just wander around, similar to wild behavior. Stay here, follow me, hunt mobs, gather items, etc. Gather items. The rat will search the area for dropped items. Craft a whitelist or blacklist upgrade to limit what they pick up. You can use a cheese staff to set a deposit inventory. So remember I said about the mob hunting and the mob filter? Well, here it is here. So basically, you want to make a blacklist, a whitelist, and then a basic rat upgrade. So a basic one is just all cheese, and then a blacklist one is any black dye, a white one is any white dye, etc. And you just make the upgrades like this. So I then take the upgrade. I could just right-click on the upgrade in my empty hand, and I can say toggle whitelist, yes. Toggle, or otherwise it's blacklisted. So obviously whitelisting, if I say a chicken, and then I can tick to say show selected mobs, it's only going to whitelist chickens. It's only going to hunt chickens. Whereas if it's the blacklist, it will do everything but chickens. So toggle whitelist, yes. I then go into my rat, and then I put this upgrade in the upgrade slot on the left. If I then get a chicken and set it to hunt mobs. Now, do make sure that when you click the arrows to set command, you do click it in order to confirm it. If I put gather items and then press escape, it's then not actually done it. So you need to set it to hunt mobs. As you can see, it's just killed that poor chicken. If I put another chicken down, the rat will then hunt the chicken, but not the cat or anything else, only the chicken. And there's lots of other commands that you can put in here too. For example, gathering items. The rat will search the area for dropped items, and you can make a blacklist or whitelist filter that obviously you'd put in the upgrade bit here. And you'd set a deposit inventory just like this chest. Harvest, it will harvest crops. And if we actually look at all the different ones you can do, there's a lot of different upgrades here. There's rat upgrade speed, making the rats faster, adding more health. Rat is able to heal itself, armor, strength, warrior, battle god. Obviously some of these getting more and more expensive. Rat upgrade bow, it can actually use a bow in combat, things like that. Ones where it can breathe water, flight even. A dragon, it can fly and breathe fire. Gains the power of flight and gains poisonous attacks from bees. Demon is lava and fireproof and will ignite enemies. And there's really great descriptions on all of these. I'm not going to go through all of them. I think they're pretty self-explanatory. Rats will cook held items. Like the breeding one, rats will use any held food to breed items when set to the harvest command. It's quite well explained, I do think, on the tooltips here. But speaking of breeding, what if we actually want to breed our own rats? So now let's look then at rat cages and customizing rats and things like that. So where's my other rat gone? Oh, he's over there. Okay, so you can make these rat cages pretty easily, and they are multi-blocks. So you can actually have, just a one, or you can make them, really big just by placing them next to each other like this. You can also add rat tubes, and the way these work is that I can literally just click the rat tube here or here, and as you can see, it makes a hole in the cage, and rats will be able to go from cage to cage. So I've got my female rat here. Let me just check, make sure. Yep. And I can shift right click and it will actually go, well, it's meant to be on my shoulder, but the rat is on my head, either way. And then I can right click on the cage once the rat is on top of me to put it into the cage. So I'm just going to shift right click that one. So it says shoulder, but again, it's on my head. And I right click into the cage. So that's a male and a female rat. Now, in order to get these rats to actually breed, what I'm going to need to do is get some decorations. So, for example, we have the rat breeding lantern, which is made pretty simply. There's a rat seed bowl made from raw plastic. There's also a rat water bottle. There's a rat wheel. Now, this will actually generate power. The rats will go on it and generate RF energy. If you have tech mods, you could use that. Similar to if you've ever used the hamster from, I can't remember what mod that's from. There's a mod, I think it's Animania that adds the hamster. So I can place these all into the cage, and let's use the breeding lantern. I can just place that into here, into the cage. And as long as you have a male and female rat with that little breeding lantern, then the rats will actually start breeding in here. I can just right-click the rats to get them out. Oh, look, there's the baby rat. It's literally a little tiny wiggly worm. I can shift right-click these rats to put them back in here. I can place all these different decorations in here. The rats will go from this cage to that cage whenever they fancy, because I have got the rat tubes there as well, which is fantastic. So that's how you can start breeding your rats. Now, I can also customize my rats by getting dyes. So if I just get like a piece of red dye, I can right click my rat and make it a red dye rat. If you want to actually get rid of that dye from your rat, you can make a dye sponge as shown here, and I can literally simply get that dye sponge and right click the rat and it will remove the dye from the rat. Now, speaking of rats and dyes, let's talk about rat hats. So there's lots of different hats that you can put on your rats. For example, the party hat. So if we get the party hat, I can just right-click my rat, put it on the hat. You can also put like skeleton skulls and things like that in this hat slot. It doesn't have to just be armor. But as you can see, my rat now has a party hat on. Now, some of these hats you can only get from things like villagers. So if you actually get a trash can and put a villager in there, as the workstation, then you can actually get trades from a pet shop owner. And he'll give you things like a charged creeper chunk, a plague tome, some different rat upgrades, an exterminator hat, a party hat, and things like this, as well as being able to get garbage piles, etc. Now, sometimes you will also be able to get plastic. As I showed you before, to make the rat tube, you will need plastic. Now, sometimes these pet shop owners will trade you for plastic. If not, then you can just keep destroying garbage piles until you get some raw plastic, just like you would get flint from gravel. Now, if you use the mod Just Enough Resources here, you can see that the Exterminator hat comes from the Villager Trades, the Party hat does, the Santa hat does, the top hat you can make, the Fisherman's hat you can make, just from a normal farmer hat, which you can make. The Archaeologist hat you can see drops from husks or skeletons in jungles, but again can be traded from the trader. Same with a Piper hat, which we made from pied wool, which you need to get from the Pied Piper. So how do we get the Pied Piper then? Well, he can spawn pretty much anywhere, similar to how Illagers spawn. As you can see, he is technically an Illager, and he will actually control wild rats. Now, he will drop pied wool, he will also drop feathers, he will drop the Piper hat, and he will drop these mysterious token fragments as well, which you can make into a mysterious token chunk. So, the Piper hat... when you wear the hat, again dropped by the Pied Piper, wild rats will no longer fear you when worn, so it means that taming wild rats will become a lot easier. And we get pied wool, which can be made into rat upgrade shears, where rats will actually shear sheep, etc. when set to harvest. Again, one of the upgrades that is available. And you can also make this pied garbage. Now, basically, rather than rats spawning on the garbage, you will actually get the Pied Pipers spawning on garbage. Something else you might see running around village is actually plague doctors. The plague doctors and plague rats can do quite a lot. So they're basically a new villager, and if we trade with them, you're going to see that you can get quite a lot from them. So sometimes rats will actually spawn as plague rats, which can infect you and other animals and mobs with the plague. For you, it'll last 5 minutes, and you just want to try and survive that. It's not too crazy. As you can see here, we can get emeralds from them like normal villagers, but they will also trade things like a bundle of sweet-smelling herbs, which has a 10% chance to remove the plague effect, or purified garbage, spawn rats without plague on the block. So basically, the normal garbage that I've shown you has a chance to spawn rats, but also sometimes plague rats. The purified garbage will only spawn pure rats, and there's no chance of plague ones. You can also get pied wool this way as well. We've got some cures as well, like Plague Leech, 50% chance to remove the plague effect, Plague Stew, which is guaranteed, and Purifying Liquid, which kills mobs with plague and zombie villagers. And by that, I do mean it will actually cure zombie villagers into normal villagers. So that's not zombie villagers that have the plague, it's just normal zombie villagers. If we look at this one, we can see here that he's trading some basic upgrades, mysterious fragments and filth, but also the Plague Doctor mask, which you can wear, which reduces the chance of getting a plague from rats on contact. And then we've also got here just normal garbage pile and also plague essence, and that can drop from plague rats as well, but as you can see, can be traded from the Plague Doctor. So with that plague essence, we can make something like a Plague Doctorate, transforming a villager into a Plague Doctor. And we can also make the rat radius staff, using the rat to bind it, and then we can basically, if a rat is set to harvest, we can then set the radius of the rat. So as you can see here, like this is the current radius of the rat I'm bound to. Let's get a rat out and show you. So let's put this rat to harvest, click, and then I can click on that rat, and you can see this is the radius this rat will now harvest crops in. If I shift and click, I can add that radius to 16, press set, or reset radius, sorry. So 16. Oh, it doesn't seem to be working. Oh, there we go. And then press set rat radius there. So now, if I set the rat radius origin to where we are, I can then, as you can see behind me, increase and decrease that radius with the staff. One thing I didn't mention is the potions. Is it called potion? Let me show you. It's one of the ones they're trading for. This one here, the Purifying Liquid. If you do have the plague, stand near a Plague Doctor and they might just throw this potion at you to try and cure you if you do have it. So if you are in a village near one, sometimes they will literally just throw these potions at you to literally, try and cure you of the plague. So they will help you out without having to trade with them. Next up, let's talk about the bosses in the game. So if you get a Plague Tome, this is a very rare drop from Plague Rats. As you can see, it transforms a Plague Doctor into the Black Death. So what is the Black Death? Well, it's not good, let me tell you. So there's a Plague Doctor. I used the book on him, and now he is the Black Death, which is absolutely terrible. terrifying. And basically, he will summon rats. Let's go into... let's get some golden apples. I don't like to... I don't think he's that strong, but when I'm doing these tutorials, you know, I just give myself Neverite and call it a day. So I just hope that they're not that strong. But he will basically summon, as you can see, all of these rats at you in like an army of them. And as you can see here, and also he'll infect you with the plague. Now, he'll also shoot at you as well. But isn't too difficult, really, to kill. You're just going to get the plague. You're going to get a load of rats at you. And he will also summon these... what are these? Plague clouds? And also these mega massive rats, as you can see here. Plague beasts, these ones are called. He'll summon those at you as well. What I would recommend is just enclosing him in an area, because it can get a bit overwhelming, as you can see, even though they're not that hard to kill. It just kind of overwhelms you, like I said. But a few golden apples or enchanted golden apples should be fine. Maybe you'd want like sweeping edge, or whatever it's called, for all these mobs. But yeah, then it's not that difficult. And there we go. The Black Death is now dead. So as you can see, he will drop a lot of like Plague Doctor type items. He also has a chance to drop this scythe here and also this mask. These are probably the two most exciting drops from the boss. And that is going to be the Black Death Mask. It gives you a reduced chance of getting plague, just like the basic one does. However, this one means that plague rats will no longer attack you when worn, and that does include even if you attack them. He will also drop the Black Death Scythe, which summons plague clouds when you use it. So left click and you can summon clouds, as you can see, which are very good projectiles, and also you can use it as a melee weapon too. Now, the other boss is the Red King, or the Rat King even. As you can see here, the Ball of Filth transforms a rat into a Rat King, and that's just with literal filth. So to make filth, you can get garbage piles, compress them into compressed garbage. 9 compressed garbage makes 1 filth, and 9 filth makes a Ball of Filth. I would recommend maybe trading for these off the Plague Doctors, etc. It might be a bit easier. And once you've got that Ball of Filth, just right-click on a rat. Big old nasty rat. There's a wild rat here, and I'm just going to... Oh, it's going to run away from me, isn't it? Let's give it some cheese. There it goes. In fact, I could just summon it in. But basically, right-click a rat with that Ball of Filth, and you get the Rat King. And that looks like this. So he basically launches rats out at you. And again, I would recommend maybe either keeping it in an area and shooting it with a bow, or just trying to kind of kite it around like I'm doing now, so that the rats kind of can't get you as easily. But he's not very difficult at all, as you can see here. I'm just using a basic Neverite sword again without any enchants. In Neverite armor, but with an enchanted golden apple. And boom, we've killed the Rat King. And he may then drop the Rat King's crown, which you can use to make an idol upgrade. Rats gain a golden appearance. Piglins will not target or attack this rat, nor will they target you if the rat is sitting on you, so on your shoulder. So a really useful upgrade there. You would also need some golden rat skulls. Now, rat skulls are just a rare drop from rats, and you can add gold around them to do that. And I did actually get a rat skull from the king himself. He also drops some... tangled rat tails, which you can use with your Black Death Scythe, and a golden rat skull to make a corrupt rat skull. And also you can use a rat flute, which is just made like this. So I haven't told you about the rat flute. Commands all tamed rats within the local area. Sneak and right click to change the selected command. So, you know, follow, harvest, you just sneak and right click and it will change it to follow, etc. And then you use the flute and it will just do all nearby tamed rats, so that you don't have to do one at a time. But with the tangled rat tails and a golden rat skull, you can then actually make a gilded rat flute. And basically this is going to shoot rats out of it as a weapon. If I can just find it. Here we go, gilded rat. And as you can see, I literally shoot rats out of the gilded rat flute. Next up is where it gets really exciting, which is going to Ratlantis. Now, I just want to say, if I suddenly sound a bit funny recording this part of the video, I've just had extensive jaw surgery to remove a tumour in my face. So I do apologise. I just can't not work for any longer. So if you actually don't have the Ratlantis enabled on your world, what we can do is make a archaeologist hat. So it's shown as here, you need some raw marble cheese, a few bits and bobs, and you would need a chunky cheese token. Now, chunky cheese tokens are actually how you get to Ratlantis, but obviously if you don't have Ratlantis enabled, then you can still get the chunky cheese token. So it's an extremely rare drop from rats, and that's the whole token. Otherwise, we can get mysterious token chunks, and these will drop from the Plague Doctor, etc. I think. Let me just have a look. Yeah, the mysterious token chunks will drop from the Black Death and also the Rat King. And then we also have the mysterious rat fragments, and 9 of the fragments will make the chunk. A fragment is dropped from the Pied Piper on a 5% drop chance. So you can make the fragments into those. There's also tiny coins you can get from trading the pet shop owners, and you can get 8 of them, and 9 of them make the mysterious token fragment, which obviously 9 then make 1 chunk, and 9 chunks make the cheese totem, which takes you to Ratlantis. Now, if you get this archaeologist upgrade because you haven't got Ratlantis installed, I only would recommend making it if you have not got Ratlantis enabled. You put this upgrade in your rat, and now we can give it things. So if we look at the uses for it, you have archaeologist rat. If you give it a fire charge, it will give you cheese cannonball. If you give it a netherite ingot, it will give you an orichalcum ingot. Leather tunic into togas, which you can put on your rats as decorations. Tropical fish into a rat fish. A skeleton skull into a Ratlantian automation head, etc., etc. So these are things that you can get in Ratlantis. An iron sword into a pirate cutlass, for example, or an emerald into a gem of Ratlantis. And all you need to do, let's give it an iron ingot, put it in the rat's inventory, and it will turn it into the other item for you. Now with your token, your chunky cheese token, we can just right click it onto the ground, and it will start getting faster and faster, as you can see, and eventually it's going to open up a portal to Ratlantis. There we go, the portal has opened to Ratlantis. So obviously step through and you're off to Ratlantis. So that is actually how we get to Ratlantis. Now when you get here, you're going to see lots of different things, so let's talk about those now. Now that we're in Ratlantis, there's a few things we're going to see. There's these ratfish, as you can see here. Very cute. They are ratfish. What's that? Oh, it's a pufferfish from Minecraft. There's also these buildings here, like as you can see, under the water. Other small ones like this. You're also going to see these, which are pirate boats with pirates in them. And they will get you your cheese cannonballs. You can upgrade this. Pirate hats, you get, again, you can get from the Piper hat and an archaeologist. Pirate hats and pirate cutlass, etc. And a basic Ratlantium upgrade basically gets you a buccaneer, where your rat can shoot stuff at people. There's some other structures around you're going to see, like this. All pretty self-explanatory, really. And then the rest of it is all jungle. And in that jungle, you are going to find some nasty mobs. I'm just going to spawn these in. Like the feral Ratlantian, which look like this. They're basically like a cow, almost, I would say. And they will just attack you with their sharp claws. When you kill them, you can actually make a new weapon. It's not the most amazing thing you've ever seen. So they should drop. Oh, and they drop yeah, they drop the togas as well. But what they also drop is feral rat claws, which you can make into a feral Ratlantian Bargnark, which is basically just a main hand weapon. Another one you might find is the Ratlantian Spirit. They look like this, and I don't even know what they really look like. Is that a rat? I mean, it's a rat head. And they shoot like beams of like crap at you, almost like a ghast would. See, there's one that I haven't spawned, and they only come out at night, these ones. If you want to get back, then look here. You can see you can obviously got your portal back home. Over here, what you can see, oh look, there's one of those feral rats, is a landing strip. So this landing strip will actually spawn another boss, and you use the air raid siren. So you use it, some iron ingots fall off, and the Rat Baron comes in. Not the hardest boss. I would recommend obviously using a bow and arrow to take him down, as he does fly ahead and obviously come down and attack you, etc. And as you can see, I try and hit him. It's very difficult with melee. Because you really want to hit him itself, you see, sort of thing. Well, I think. Now, once you kill him, he's going to drop a few items for you. Notably, orichalcum nuggets. And also the biplane wing, which you can use to make the biplane mount. A rat gains a biplane mount that has 300 health and can fly. Cooldown on mount respawning when slain. So you can add this to your rat and basically get a massive mount out of them. And then you've got the leggings of Ratlantis. A spectral rat will protect you at all times and keep enemies at bay. And that will stack the more pieces of armour you have. You need orichalcum ingots, biplane wing, and then netherite. You also use it in the skull of Ratlantis, which needs a flying Dutchman ship wheel, which I'm going to show you next. A golden rat skull, we know how to get that. Arcane technology, which is from Ratlantian automation, I'm going to show you soon. And the Neo Ratlantians. These are the other ones here. And the skull of Ratlantis is actually used then to make the avatar of Ratlantis, which you can use to make an upgrade combiner, where you can make upgrades, you know, 2 upgrades into 1, so that you've got more slots in your rat, because there's only 3 upgrade slots, right? So if you combine them, you can actually get more. And also a rat upgrade non-believer, adding massive rat damage, rat max health, rat armor, and they will then regenerate their health. So it's the ultimate rat upgrade. A few of the other items that we know about at the moment to make the avatar at Ratlantis is going to be the feral rat claw. I showed you from the rat beasts. A ratfish, toga, the pirate hat. Don't forget, you can just get the pirate hat by trading a piper hat with the archaeologist rat. Block of orichalcum, whatever it's called. A gem of Ratlantis, which needs rat glove petals, which are from these flowers. And you can actually just give blue orchids to your archaeologist rat in order to get those as well. And then you just need a rat glove petal on its own. And actually, the only one that we left have is the Ratlantian spirit flame. And these drop from these little annoying mobs as well. So that's everything you need to make the avatar of Ratlantis. Obviously, we haven't gone over these 3 other bosses yet, so we'll do that shortly. Another structure you might find are these ones, which have some gold blocks and lapis blocks as well, which, depending on how early into your game you are, you may find very useful. Next up is the flying Dutch rat. Look on your map and you may see a green ship like that. And that's how you know you found it, because personally, I haven't actually seen where the ship is yet, but I looked on my map. If you're using Journey Map or something like that, it may be easier to find the ship. As you can see, this one is quite high up in the sky. You do need it to be nighttime. And you are going to want to fight him in the hull of the ship, because imagine you fight him and he's here and you kill him and all the drops go down into the sea. Would not be good, in my opinion. So when you look in these little chests here, these barrels, so you have these ghost stuff, ghost pirate rats. And what they will drop is ectoplasm. And ectoplasm can be made to make a ghost pirate hat, or to make ghost pirate planks and doors and scimitars and things like that. Or rat upgrade ethereal, where they can phase through blocks and can float through the air. There's a lot of chests here. I would recommend looking through them. We have some cheese cannonballs, some tiny coins, got some pirate cutlasses. And if you look at these ghost pirate cutlasses, it's a lot faster and deadlier than the Netherite sword. So they are actually quite good. And you'll find some pirate hats in here. You'll also find some cutlasses, some old treacle, but, you know, getting rid of the plague. Nothing too exciting, but you may even find a ghost pirate hat and things like that. So for summoning the flying Dutch rat, make sure it's nighttime, come out of the ship, and you want to use this bell. Right-click the bell, And what you can see is that loads of smoke goes round, and it will summon the flying Dutch rat. Now, what I would recommend is, like I said, that you fight him in the hull of the ship if you can. He will come down and attack you. As you can see here, not too difficult. He kind of comes in and it's like having a boxing match, and he'll come in and slash you with his scimitar. And every time you hit him with this rat cutlass, at least, you can see how much roughly damage I am doing to him. With a few golden apples, regen, etc., he's really not that difficult. And I do believe he can, yeah, he will be able to come into the ship like here. Can be a bit annoying with all his flying around. You can use a bow, of course, but he does move around quite fast. But it's a very simple boss, really. Just a bit annoying, really. Because there is a lot of waiting, as you can see. And there we go. When he dies, he will drop the Flying Dutch Rat's wheel, which you can turn to ectoplasm. And obviously you can use it for the boots of Ratlantis, which is the same as the legs, does the exact same thing. And obviously we can use it for the skull of Ratlantis and also the non-believer upgrade. Next one is the automaton. So you're going to need a Ratlantian automation core, needing raw marble cheese, which, you know, made as so, and a gem of Ratlantis, again made as so, from the petals. You can also just get an emerald and give it to your archaeologist rat, and you'll get a gem of Ratlantis. And then what you want to do is get one of these, as well as some marbled cheese, and make it like you're summoning the Wither. So like this, basically. And then the last item you're going to need is the Ratlantian automaton head. It's got a 5% loot drop chance from these Ratlantian ferals. It will also drop from these spirits as well. So again, 5% drop chance. You need to wait until you get one. When you do get one, you've made the core, etc. You then plop the head on top, like that. And we have the Ratlantian automation. It has 2 attacks. When it's close to us, it will swing its blades to attack us. And then when it's further away, it will fire lasers at us. And both of these deal 6 damage. But again, it's not exactly that difficult. It's only those 2 basic attacks. And again, you can also use these heads with arcane technology, etc., to get the automation mount and the ratinator, which is a different kind of rat, obviously, you can get. Or you can get dispensers into these rat bot barrels as well, if you don't have the charged rat bot barrels, etc., which are from these rat bots that are another mob that can spawn. So what does it drop? Well, it will drop arcane technology, although only a 50% chance, so you may have to kill a few of these Ratlantian automatons. And it will also drop an ancient saw blade, which again is needed for the automation mount, and also an upgrade separator. So I showed you the other one. To combine upgrades, this one will separate them. Lastly, we have the Vial of Consciousness. This is probably the worst boss. I find it very annoying. You need to use some Ratlantian Spirit Flame, a glass bottle, Ratcliffe Petals, and a Feral Ratclaw. And then you just use it. There we go. And as you can see, I have Nausea, Darkness, and Blindness. But what we actually want to do is fire this bottle at a feral Ratlantian. Okay, so don't be careful. You don't want to do it to yourself because it'll make a big old mess for a feral Ratlantian, and it will turn him into the Neo Ratlantian. Now, he will summon portals that will attack you, and that's all he really does. So I'd use a bow. Like, these portals will shoot lasers at you, etc. They're very annoying. I'm going into creative because I don't want to die and I'm not really made for this. And you'll also get glowing and levitation and wither when hit by these portals. I would use a bow to try and kill him. He's very annoying, as you can see, flying around. And what does he drop? Well, he will drop the Sonic Rat Brain, which you can make into the helmet for the Helmet of Ratlantis with a Neverite upgrade. And of course, the Rat upgrade non-believer. There's also a Psychic one, which summons portals that attacks targets, which is an upgrade for your rat. And that's it. That's all of the bosses. Now, the only thing I haven't shown you is the tools. Very simply, the Sword of Ratlantis. Each attack summons a spectral rat that deals additional damage. The shovel will not be damaged when mining sand. The pick will not be damaged when mining stone. The axe will not be when mining leaves. So it will be from like wood, but not leaves. The hoe will do a 3x3 area. And the bow fires arrows twice as fast, basically. You will also find underground, if you go digging in Ratlantis, some ores, and that is going to be your Ratlantian gem ore and your orichalcum ore, which you can smelt up into an ingot, but obviously it's quite rare. There is also cheese ore as well that you may find. There's also these little nuggets that can drop. These are literally basically rat poo and will drop off your rats, and they're called rat nuggets. You can use it for ore doubling. Rat will eat ore blocks and create nuggets. Nuggets can then be right-clicked for associated ore item. They will not deposit any held ore block into the chest and will eat it instead. So you can use that to actually ore double with your rats. If you want to give your rat to somebody else, the traders here will give you rat papers. Use to transfer rats between owners, and it shows you how to do that there on the tooltip. Pretty self-explanatory. And that is pretty much it, guys. That is everything you need to know about the Rats mod. Do check out my channel. I've done an insane amount of mod guides, and I'm always looking for more mods to cover. If you want to join my ATM 10 server, I do actually stream once a week on Mondays, and we'll also be launching more public servers through the Discord soon as well, once we have a few more mods and staff up and running. So there's lots to do around this channel and community, and mainly obviously focused around learning mods. So please do check out everything we have to offer here.